Hello and welcome to Sweet 16, where we play the sweetest 16 minutes of gameplay. I'm Joe, and this is
Jordan. Hello.
Just before we started recording this, we went and played 4 hours of the new Saints Row, which is just called Saints Row. Shall we just get into it?
Let's just get into it.
There's
a lot to talk about, so let's just play it, eh? So, have you played much Saints Row before, Joe?
I have. Okay. I've played, I think, all of them other than Get Out of Hell, which I believe was a musical.
Did anyone play Get Out of Hell? I don't think.
Let us know in the comments if you did.
Yeah, I certainly didn't.
I didn't, no. But I loved 1 and 2, and really liked 3 as well. 4 was good, but it was too much. After like 10 hours, I couldn't do it. Yep. So I had to bounce out.
They were definitely changing the game. Like, I think 3 was the turning point, and 4 really just went.
Yeah, 3 went like, this is silly, and 4 went, we're insane now.
Yes.
Which is,
it's
a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice.
It was fun for what it was, but it was too much after a while.
But now we've played 4 hours of the opening of this brand new game. Like you said, it's just Saints Row. It's not a sequel.
Yep. It's a reboot.
Yeah. How do you feel it compares?
It feels very similar, and I mean that in both good and bad ways. It feels like a game that came out 10 years ago, a little bit.
Okay.
If I'm being honest.
Fair.
I wish I liked it more than I did. I was a bit underwhelmed. It was a bit rough. Like, the world is a bit flat and dull. As you can see, just driving around, it kind of is a bit of desert. There's buildings. There's no real, there's nothing you're looking at off in the distance where you go, oh, I really want to go explore that thing over there. It's just all this kind of, it's a bit dull. Yeah, and
it has so much potential because it's a huge open world, and it's pretty easy to traverse around it as well. But like you said, I think you pointed out before, there's no landmarks that you're like, or points of interest that you're like, I have to go there. Instead, you're looking at your mini-map to find something, like we're about to go to a tattoo parlor and just see what's there because it's an icon on a map,
Yeah.
So this is my gameplay that I captured. We're wandering into a tattoo shop because during it's got very extensive customization options. However, I noticed that tattoos weren't included for free, so you have to use in-game money to purchase your tattoos. So,
expensive one there, $2,000.
Yeah, and there was one for 78,000 as well, which I didn't even think was that appealing. But I guess people who are super into
it's appealing because it's expensive.
Yeah,
makes it exclusive.
Yeah, of course. No one else will have this.
Yeah.
But it's the customization options are really interesting. I think we've covered them before. If you watch the loot drop, you would have seen Harry and myself try and make a popular character. It's pretty cool.
It's definitely, I think it's the strongest part of the game so far. They've got a lot you can customize.
Right.
And just unlimited slider access, basically, which is what you want.
Absolutely. We just jumped ahead here. This was a little wanted mission that I did, just to give an example of the kinds of mini side missions you get. This one was Breaking Bad-esque, where I had to try and track a spy down, and we immediately saw an RV explode. And now I'm trying to long range the sniper who's attacking me.
So what was the mission was to investigate the RV?
That's right. So these are side missions before we jump into main story stuff. In the side missions, you just jump on your mobile phone and you get wanted missions. And this particular one was a spy that we had to try and give a burn notice to or what have you.
Yep.
And I didn't love the shooting.
I would go so far as to say I actually hated the shooting. I'm going to use some strong language with that. It was just, it has the Call of Duty, when you aim, it snaps to a target, which is fine. But the sensitivity and the feel of when you're not doing that is just bad. It just jumps around. You said you went and dialed in your sensitivity a lot. I just didn't, because I could tell it wasn't actually a sensitivity issue. It's how the auto aim and the feeling of it on a controller works.
Yes, absolutely. I think you're right. With mouse and keyboard, it might be a little bit better, but controller, it was very difficult. And I've played the previous Saints Rows all on controller, so
And I never had an issue with it.
No.
I mean, I'd have to go back and play them now to remember how they feel, but I don't remember them feeling like this.
No, I agree.
This felt bad.
So I don't know what's changed. What's this we're doing now?
So this is another one of your side missions where you review bomb places, basically, and that triggers a wave of enemies. So the more you bomb their review, the more waves come at you. So a 1-star review will get you the most hostiles possible.
Because people, I guess, just hate 1-star reviews.
Yeah, so much that they will send an army after you.
Yeah, and clearly there's a lot going on screen right now. There's currently a sandstorm that's blowing through town because there are some weather effects in this as well. I found it a little distracting and confusing because it came on quite suddenly.
Yeah.
You'll also probably feel the same way because it's quite hard to see stuff. But
I think it clears up in a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what you really want in your game, something that makes it even flatter and browner.
It already was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so right. Yeah, it didn't feel as satisfying mowing people down with cars as I feel like it has in previous games either. Like I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, this is pre-release code, so things can obviously change. But I just wasn't really enjoying my time with it, if I'm being completely brutally honest. It felt, if this was a bargain game, or, you know, coming out for a free-to-play something, like, I could maybe forgive it, but it has a double A vibe, which can be fine.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's a full price. Well, you know.
There are some good ideas in it, and there's this, we're probably going to go
Are
back to in
there?
a sec. I think so, like some unique visuals, etc. So there was an enemy you would have seen just twirling stuff before, which we'll come back to. Looks great, awful enemy, because...
Oh, the enemy looks great.
Yeah, the enemy looks great,
Yeah.
but like how you fight it is terrible, because as long as those things are up, you can't do damage to it, you can't get behind it, you have to wait, you have to stand still, wait till it throws something at you, and then engage with it,
Yeah.
which just slows down the pace of gameplay, especially when you're in a big area with multiple combatants.
There's no interesting little tactical element to it. It's just wait until they stop.
Yeah.
And I got excited when I first saw that enemy because I was like, oh great, just someone who isn't a goon with armor that makes it tougher to kill.
Yes.
Like something strategic to fight against, but it didn't really do much.
It's no Jackal from Halo. That's
It's no Jackal from Halo, no, no. See, that's what it needs. It needs a little gap. It needs something you can interact with when it is doing its thing to give you an element of skill.
I'm sure grenades will help. But yeah. We're moving on now to, this is actually one of the campaign missions, so we can't show off too much of the story stuff, but this is one of the, I think it's the second or third mission.
Yeah, it's pretty early on.
Pretty early, and we're currently sieging a convoy to try and get access to, I forget.
I forget, yeah. I don't know. I think you're just trying to get the convoy. No, there's artifacts. There's some artifacts on the convoy.
There's some artifact heist thing going on in this game. You know, I'll be honest, the story doesn't seem to super matter. Like, there's heaps of jokes with it throughout in typical Saints Row style, so expect heaps of that.
They weren't very funny.
No. So
I don't think I laughed at any of the writing, to be honest.
Not particularly, but I mean, this kind of set piece, and you have a different opinion on this, I really like the lighting. I think it's quite nice. We haven't really seen a beautiful sunset kind of thing in a Saints Row game before, from my memory.
I think this is probably one of the more visually arresting moments. Like, it is a nice sunset, but at the same time, I'm not being wowed by the visuals. You
That's
know,
fair.
like, we're a few years into the latest generation, and this generously feels like a last generation game, I think.
It does. Is it cross-platform? Do we get it?
We would have to confirm that, but I'd
I'll look it up real quick.
look it up. I would bet this is a Xbox One and PS4 game as well.
Yeah, because you can definitely tell it seems quite restrained because
Yeah,
they just need everything
yeah.
to run pretty consistently. Yeah, it's on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah. That makes sense.
yeah, which
But
is a
we-
shame.
Yeah, we were playing on PC, and you would think, I don't know. Like, we've seen cross-generation games look good. Like, Horizon Forbidden West is a cross-generation game. It's not really an excuse to have a bad-looking game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad-looking. It doesn't wow me.
I just want it to look better.
Yeah, it feels like old Saints Row.
Yes.
And I mean, maybe they dusted off the old Saints Row engine for it. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's just a theory.
Again, we'll do some more research
should do
before
some
we do a
research.
review. Yeah.
But we just spent 4 hours playing this. That's plenty of research.
It's a lot of time. And like as you can see there, I was just kicking some people around, not doing much damage, and they're not so much spongy enemies, but I mean, this is a very spongy enemy.
Yeah.
But you're very much shooting at basic grunts for a long time with pretty unexciting weapons. I mean, I didn't get anything other than the assault rifle and the shotgun.
Yeah. Nothing exciting yet. Like, there was a carbine I got, and that was about it.
Yeah.
One thing I did kind of like in the combat is you can see in the middle you have the Saints Row icon that's filled up, and then you can press Y on an enemy, and that will let you basically regenerate all your health. And unless you use that, you can't regenerate more than a bar of health, or whatever bar you're currently on, if that makes sense.
It's
So
a good
that-
way to get
yeah.
rid of like pickups, I guess, in the environment.
And it's a good way to like force you to be a little strategic, and also have to like push your advantage to get that health back if you're struggling. But
There's some other cool stuff in there, that, like I think the skills are one thing they're really pushing in on. We had to hold the right bumper, and you can assign the face buttons X, A, B, Y to a different skill. So you may have noticed a few times I grabbed someone, threw a grenade down their pants in typical Saints Row fashion, and then yeeted them at their own teammates. And that was a fun way to do stuff. It's pretty cool and interesting. There's some other ones where you can get like reduced damage. You can put a smoke screen down if there's too much heat on you, etc.
I used one that just threw a bomb you could shoot, basically.
Cool. There you go. Yeah. So like it's a pretty cool way to like mix it up a little bit. But
yeah, I'm sure once you probably have unlocked more of those and you've got some more powerful, fun weapons, the combat probably starts to feel more well-rounded.
Yeah.
But the early hours felt a little basic.
I agree. Yeah, definitely. And that's what the interesting point. So while there's some story stuff, we couldn't go beyond a mission that helped let us unlock a church, which I believe is what became the base of operations for our gang. But there's stuff that happens once we get the church, right?
Yeah, so that's when the whole kind of criminal syndicate happens. It's when you become the Saints. And so we imagine that's kind of when a lot of the mechanics of the game hopefully start to open up a bit more, and it becomes a bit more deeper to interact with and a bit more interesting, or makes the world a bit more interesting with more things to do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a pretty sparse world at the moment. And again, early code, maybe they've got some little like mysterious stranger Red Dead style stuff that happens, but at the moment you're just cruising around looking, again, opening your phone and looking on the map just to see what can I do right now. And there's nothing that's particularly exciting. We'll cover like a helicopter thing that we did later, but again, this is just a story mission where we're now lying on the back of a truck with a rocket launcher.
Yeah, and this is the kind of thing where I'm like, okay, this is exciting for 10 seconds, but it feels like something we've played so many times before.
Yep. And that's the point. Yeah, because Saints Row has been around for so long, and they've done some cool stuff, but nothing new has happened in this game for me. It's the same thing. This even feels like your superpower in 4 shooting up into the air.
Yeah.
And now it's the wingsuit, which is a really good way of like traversing around this huge city. Because unlike some other games that have wingsuits that kind of really perpetually put you downwards, you can actually like get pretty reasonable distances.
Yeah. Still, I mean, I'm spoiled after playing something like Just Cause, where you have a wingsuit and a grapple.
True.
And it's just, you can't beat that, you know. I mean, maybe you get a grapple later in this. I don't know.
Who knows? We didn't get shown any of the amazing endgame stuff.
No,
We just
but
had to start
I do
from
like that you
scratch.
can wingsuit off cars, so you can probably, or you could definitely like leapfrog wingsuit your way across the city.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Not a bad idea. But we also, I think, from what I saw in the menu, fast travel is only done if you take photos of certain like landmarks or monuments.
Right, so that's how you unlock it.
Yeah, so you have to go around and take a photo of something, which is not a bad idea. Again, it's not a bad idea of keeping it, rather than just like you walked over a fast travel
Yeah.
point. But we didn't get to fast travel, so we were running everywhere.
Yeah.
Now
driving.
This is driving. This is the chop lifting mission, which you and I did.
So we're actually playing co-op now, we should say. There is 2-player co-op you can do. And yes, this is a chop lifting side quest where one chopper has to pick up a vehicle and deliver it somewhere.
And emphasis on one vehicle.
Yeah.
We thought we'd both have something to do in this mission because it's a co-op mission and we think it would scale. No. So instead, I got there first and was able to deploy my magnet on this vehicle, and Joe just got to follow.
And I mean, I bumped into you a bunch and made the mission harder, if anything, which is not very helpful, but
Yeah, funny, but not helpful.
I guess. I mean, and I did start to have a lot more fun playing this in co-op. Just the general joy of having another friend to do stupid stuff with is definitely going to be the strongest part of this game, I think.
Absolutely. And as we've said before, that's every game ever, right?
True, but I mean, there's a lot to be said for having a sandbox game do that. I think with, you know, helicopters and wingsuits and various dumb stuff, that co-op element can become a lot stronger than just something like a Borderlands where it's kind of just shooting with
you're right.
friends.
Walk forward, shoot.
Yeah.
Similarly, though, this does feel quite on rails. Like both of those story excerpts we showed were very much you're going in a direction and you just happen to be shooting stuff to keep you busy until you reach your destination.
I mean, literally, the convoy mission is in a tunnel on rails.
Yeah.
You know.
Go to this place.
And we are literally on rails right now, but this isn't in the open world, we should say.
No, this is, So this is another activity called the Pony Express, where you have to try and, it's a really cool concept actually, I liked reading about it, and the visuals we got before the mission started looked awesome.
Yep.
It seemed like you're out in a canyon and we were dodging cops. You see those little, circles on the mini-map saying what the field of vision of the cops are, and the idea was to like avoid them. But it doesn't really matter because they're going to...
It doesn't. No, I mean, and they put them in ways you can't avoid them. It says follow the tracks, and then there's cops directly on the tracks.
Yeah.
And then you just keep driving. You just drive past them.
So it's not stealth, it's just a race. And there's some cool ways to contend with the police because you can like side swipe cars now, which is I think it's a great little feature. I think I'm about to do it up here, hopefully. Or can you do it?
I felt...
Yes, I can.
Again, the feeling of that wasn't great to me. Like, often when I did it, it didn't seem to be powerful enough on sort of, it didn't feel powerful.
Sure.
And then it would usually make me careen off course.
Yes, it's
So
a bit,
it was just, it was awkward and didn't like, what you want is something to just, whack, boom, and you keep going and, burnout style, you get some nitrous and you just keep gunning it, not like, oh, I fell over.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, you would have seen in this as well, I was not driving particularly well, but it was quite weird how I reacted to some geometry. I almost fell in the lake here as well, just because it didn't feel fluid and it felt like there's some issues. Again, pre-release code. I hope, this comes out in a month, I hope that day one patches are gonna solve most of the bugs and the issues we had.
I mean, I hate being so negative because like, we just want games to be good. And I love Saints Row, like the originals.
Definitely. And this has potential.
This has potential. I think this is the final little clip we've got. And just to end on a more negative note, I wanted to rant because this toaster is clearly not plugged in and it just annoyed me to no end. Just come on artists, put a cable there. Just like, it's not plugged in.
Just plug it in. I want realism in my Saints Row games.
I just want the toaster to have a cord.
Yeah. Is it too much to ask? Admittedly, though, this is like one of the nice moments of levity where they had a bit of comedy and after a story mission. So I appreciate it. It got a slight smile out of me.
I did enjoy this moment. You're basically quick timing your way through depression, which we can all relate to.
I wish I could quick time my way through depression.
Don't we all? So that was 16 minutes of Saints Row. Hopefully, the final product wows us a bit more.
Yes.
Because it was a little rough hands-on. But fingers crossed. It's a promising series, and there's a lot of potential there.
Definitely.
But stay tuned, and we'll have a player pass, no doubt, when that comes out. And make sure you stay subscribed for more ABC Gamer content.
Thanks for watching.
See ya.